Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I want to talk about the new trailer that was just announced for Tears of the Kingdom. And I'm not Mr. Enuma right now talking, this is me, but I'm reacting to the new gameplay trailer. I just want to talk about it because it looks amazing, I will say. And as a kind of someone who's into game design, touch on some points and just look at some things. So here's the designer. He's been at Nintendo for a long time. He helped create. I think he was the creator. Not he did help. He helped. Like he created the first Legend of Zelda. He's worked on every title since then, and he's an amazing guy. And here's the gameplay. It looks very similar to the original game, but there's some things about it that I want to talk about here. So the shading is a little different. I've noticed it looks better. You know what I mean? And the one thing I think is the map is the same for the most part. We don't know yet the full extent of it, but the map looks very similar. What I think is uh, a big issue some people have. I've already seen people talk about, oh, it's the map's the same, but there are floating islands, which is a new feature, and I think that it's gonna add some new gameplay. We'll have to. I want to wait and see because there's so much in this game. You know, the first game was so large and grand. I think there's so much in this game that we still don't know yet, and I'll be able to pet that dog. I just saw the dog. Yeah, so here's one of the. It's gonna show off one of the new abilities here. So far, it looks the same. Riding a horse. Link is different now. He has a malice hand, and I love to see what that story is now. Like the continuation of the story. But first of all, we're seeing a new Link's new ability, which is gonna be recall. You can see in the top left, it has a cool symbol on it, which I don't know what that is, but it's a new symbol. And it's basically going to take things back in time. And I really enjoy this ability. I think it's going to have some, I think it'll have some unique gameplay opportunities. Like right now, we use it more of a puzzle thing. I think it will have good gameplay opportunities, like throw something at you, like a bokoblin, like throws a rock at you, or throws like a bokoblin at you, and you can like recall it and fling it back at it. I think that'd be a really cool opportunity. Here's the Sky Island. So this is like a little sneak peek, and it's yellow. It's cool. Here's Link. Link has a cool design now, and the shading is different in this game, but dragons are back. The whole landscape. And for me, I think the one thing interesting about having this similar map is we're gonna have to see because in the original, no Zelda game has. There's been a few that have used the same engine before, like the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask used the same engine, but the maps were completely different. Now, I think this might be one of the first games. Don't quote me on this. Some 2D games might be different. But it's one of the first games that used like the same engine and have the same map. So we'll see what happens. Tree Branch. That's gonna be coming later. I love what they do. It looks really nice. I will say it looks beautiful. A very great game here. Yeah, here this is a construct, a new enemy, more of a kind of like a guardian. There's things I still want to know. Like, are guardians in this game? Are still gonna be guardians? Are the old abilities in this game? I don't know yet, and that's one thing interesting because I love the abilities from the first game, like the bombs, all that stuff. I hope it might come back in the game, but if it's not, maybe these new abilities will be because there's this ability you're about to see here is the fuse ability, and the fuse ability, this is one of the biggest problems people had with the game, and problem that like it's kind of happens with weapons. So weapons would easily break in the game. You have to find new ones, all that, and it made it really challenging in the game. But now you can fuse weapons together. So you can fuse this branch and this boulder together, and there it is fused, and you can make a new weapon. And this to me is brilliant. It solves a lot of problems that the original game had, and a lot of sandbox games have too. Like for instance, in the original, you'll see in a little bit, but in the original, like in games like Minecraft and like big games like that with a whole slew of items, so many items you just don't use. Like in the inventory, like in Minecraft, you only use like a sword and maybe a pickaxe and food and like 5 items. And everything else in the inventory is just left wasted. And this game does a really smart idea by addressing it. Like, hey, you can use that stuff to fuse it to other things. Like look at this. It makes weapons now more of a dynamic element, and it makes them to make things more on the fly, which I really loved because at the original game, you broke your weapon, you'd be like, oh, switch it, and when you have all weapons broken, you just lose. You just run away and find new weapons. And here, Korok arrow. I don't know what that's gonna do. Maybe something there. Meat arrow. It's gonna throw a giant steak at them. Yeah, but this is such a brilliant idea because it really just it tackles so many issues at once. Tackles the issue of inventory, tackles also weapons very eloquently and very majestically, I will say. And some of the UI is very similar. Sound, heat, or temperature, time of day. There's now a Z axis on the map. And of course, this he's not very good. He made a funny joke there talking about how he's a bit slower in his old age. But you can attach arrows here, and it'll make a tracing arrow. And there's just so many opportunities with this, so many different combinations. And I think not many games do this. I just saw this in a mod one time of the Binding of Isaac, versus a mod. You were like a witch, right? And there are a bunch of pickups on the ground. You use those pickups to create items, and I think that's really brilliant when there's a feature in a game that's almost useless, and you use that and you make it have a use. And that's what game design should be, and that's so brilliant. I think they did it so eloquently. I've only looked at the gameplay, but so far it looks amazing, and I'm really happy for this game. I'm really excited for this game. At first I was like, yeah, it might be okay. Now I'm like, yeah, it looks really good now. And it's just so many opportunities now, and so many different combinations that uh, you'd be sitting there for a long time and just like finding your favorite combinations, and the weapons can be on the fly, be in battle, pick up that stick, combine it, boom. Uh, yeah, so here you can like find a log on the ground. You can combine it to your weapon to make a stronger weapon. That's brilliant. And like a rock to your shield, which makes it stronger. The big thing next here is this mechanic. I think this mechanic is going to be really interesting. I love to see what it does. So the mechanics are, if you remember Banjo Kazooie and Nuts and Bolts, they had a mechanic. I know there's like a big meme where they're talking about how, oh, this is like they stole this from Banjo Kazooie, but it's such a interesting mechanic here. It's like an engineering game. I forgot what it's called. I forgot what it's called, but it's like building your own like vehicles. It works. I think it's gonna work really well, and like with the lore, uh, I'd love to see it. And there's so many opportunities now because, first of all, this was inspired by the original game where you could use magnesis to attach to an object underneath the object and make it float. And that inspired this mechanic. As I'm probably guessing, inspired this mechanic. Oh, what if you make vehicles? Oh, what if we fuse objects? And that's what I think I love about the game design is that you look at something like I just thinking like, oh, what if we make these like make vehicles a reality? And where does that lead you next? Oh, we can fuse things. What if we fuse objects together? And that thought process is really what makes Nintendo special. Like I'm not saying other studios are, but it kind of has like this Nintendo feel. I can already tell these like Nintendo qualities in their game. Another one is mechanic. This one's also called Ultra Hand, which is really cool and has something to do with the hand. I'd love to see the lore of this game because the first one had some lore. It was interesting, but I think the lore might be even more darker in this one. This might be a darker game. I know people are comparing it to Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, so we will see what this one does for the Zelda universe. But I'm very excited about this game. See, so right here, he's gonna make a boat with it, and just as you like look at the trailer, you just like think of all the possibilities. And he mentions in the game about, you probably were thinking about it, and I was thinking like, oh, what does a meat arrow do? What does that meat arrow do? And like other combinations, like what else can you build? Like, can people almost like that redstone thing, right? We take these like simple mechanics, and you just like can make moving houses. You can make all these crazy contraptions, and of course, there's a enemy there, which another construct. But who's gonna show off some more of these vehicles, even more varieties, which is so unique. Again, I'll talk about how I'm interested in what the progression of this game is. Because how are we gonna start? In the first game, we started with nothing. We had to work our way up. This game, how are we going to start? Probably in the underground layer and doing that. And I'm really interested in. I'm really interested in this game. From what I've seen so far, it looks impressive. Also, there's stamina for the machines that can't be infinite, which is going to be really useful. This one is very interesting to me. This one is called, I believe it's called Ascend, and it basically will teleport you through whatever's above you, the ceiling above you. And this one just seems more, not unlike the other ones, doesn't seem as like used for combat or used for. This one seems more for navigation. It addresses another problem in the original game, which is so smart about this game. It's going to address a lot of problems that were seen in the original one. People did not like the weapons. People did not like the climbing, and it's just gonna address it by a lot. Make it kind of fun, traversal, and for puzzles like the climbing. I don't remember if there's many puzzles that involve climbing. I think there was a few, but like this one's gonna be like so much potential. Not so much potential, but it adds more puzzle dynamics to the game. Really cool animation here. He goes in the video. He goes like, keep going, keep going. But yeah, also there's different biomes up here too. So I'm interested to see if we start here when we start the game, and or we start on the ground. It's just so interesting. Like, do we need to keep the old abilities? Do we need to keep all these other things? I don't know. But from a game designer, the fusibility just to me was incredible. I really love that. I think it's going to provide so much diversity of the game, because I think that one of the favorite things is going up to a fight and like trying out random things. That's the beauty of it, and that really encapsulated it. Because the first Zelda, Breath of the Wild, was based upon the original one. Like, hey, what if we like added like fire? Like, oh, you could set fire to a blaze, or you could do this and that. And that's why I think this game is going to expand upon that and correct some issues with the first game. The first Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year. I'm excited to see what this game's hold. So I think the biggest things concerns I have is the map. Uh, did they change enough to make it worthwhile? That's gonna be, I think that's so far the biggest concern. Off the top of my head, I really can't think of much else. It looks really good. Another one is what's the shrines? Are there gonna be shrines more? A lot of questions we have, and I think it's gonna help build excitement for this game. But if you are excited, please, I don't know, but thank you guys so much for watching. That was my little rant about the game. I hope you are excited for this game. I am very excited, and thank you everyone so much for watching. Thank you, just thank you so much, and I hope you guys are excited as I am. So thank you all for watching, and of course he's going to talk about the Oli Deli, all that, but just thank you for any support you can guys give. I will say I'm really excited for this game. I might do a gameplay of it and look like gameplay of it if I can get a video card. But I don't want to keep rambling on. I'm trying to think any final thoughts. The fusibility is just, I want to use that. When I create a game, I want to use that mechanic. I've actually seen a comment like, oh, I can't wait to see all open world games incorporate this in their game. Now I'm like, oh, man, I'm thinking about doing it too. But it's such a brilliant, simple mechanic that it almost has to be. So that was the end for him. Here is the title, and thank you everyone so much for watching, and I hope you have an incredible day. Goodbye. May 12th. Goodbye.